Tom Verducci, Sports Illustrated senior baseball writer, joins us on the show. Tom, a couple things to talk about. Giancarlo Stanton has been unbelievable, certainly in the second half of the season. Explain how often you have a marquee guy clear waivers, and do you think that means Stanton could end up with another team this year?
Yeah, it's usually because he's making so much money. But it happens a lot. Guys do clear waivers. That doesn't mean that the Marlins are going to literally give him away. I don't see a trade happening, Dan, because of the contract, because of the fact that with the team being sold, he's a definition of a franchise player, right?
Yeah.
He's young, he's really good, he's popular. I wouldn't want to be Derek Jeter or walk in there, and the first thing I do is trade my best player, so that's not happening.
Yeah, Tom is calling the Yankees-Red Sox from Fenway on MLB Network Friday at 7 Eastern with Bob Costas, also his book, The Cubs Way, now available in stores everywhere. Wanted to give you the proper introduction. The Dodgers, 50 games over 500. We've seen this before. Teams are built for the regular season, not necessarily the postseason. What is different about this Dodgers team, do you think, this year as opposed to previous years?
Well, it's the deepest team in baseball. And I thought there was one flaw in this team, and that was not enough depth of starting pitching. Because remember, last year in the postseason when they lost, Kenta Maeda, Julio Urias, they were out of games really early. So it didn't matter that they had this monster bullpen with 6-7 options. And I think the trade for Yu Darvish really covered the last hole, because now you've got lockdown starting pitchers who at least are not going to lose a game in the first 4 innings of the game. And I think when you look at a scenario against either the Cubs or the Nationals, now I think after the first one, assuming Kershaw comes back and, he's just as good, they match up well against those teams. I would not have said that before. So, hey, listen, to me, it's the Dodgers in the field right now. They're that good. Now, they could wind up being the 0-1 Mariners, but if you looked at those 0-1 Mariners, their starting pitching, and even their bullpen, but especially their starting pitching, was mediocre.
Yeah.
And you have to have good starting pitching. I know we all talk about bullpens, but look at the Cubs last year, and the Indians ran out of starting pitching in the World Series. You still need 3 good starting pitchers.
But if you look at this Dodger team, there's always going to be a team that you don't match up well against. And that's why I cautioned Dodger fans last week when I said, I know it feels like it's your team. You're all in on, it's your year. Yu Darvish coming over. Everybody's playing well. It's just that you run into a hot pitcher. You run into a team that just has your number there. Is there a team that you see that, could provide that scenario?
Well, let's say Strasburg comes back. He's fully healthy. Gio Gonzalez has had a really good year. You go Scherzer, Strasburg, Gio. That may be good enough to take out the Dodgers as deep as they are, because those are 3 guys who can take the ball to the 8th inning. They're that good. I think that's probably what we'll take. I do like what the Cubs have done in terms of going out and getting Quintana and fortifying their bullpen with Justin Wilson. I do still think you need lefties against the Dodgers, even though they've hit them way better this year than last year. I just don't think the Cubs are good enough to take out the Dodgers. I think they're just not having the same season. There's too many holes in the lineup offensively. Dodgers are a better, deeper team than the Cubs.
Mike Trout, possibility for MVP. They're in the playoff chase for a wild card berth, but he won the MVP last year, and they weren't in the hunt at all. The possibility that Trout could be, Altuve, Judge, whoever else you're going to throw in there, but that possibility is what right now, in your opinion?
It's real, and I would not have said that maybe a month or 2 ago. I just thought there was too much time that he had missed, but the fact is now the Angels are in this race. A lot of these MVP awards, as you know, Dan, are won in September, right? Big games, big moments, get your team in. That will count for more. He can finish the year with 117 games played. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but that's as many as George Brett when he won the MVP in 1980. Now, George Brett hit, 390 or whatever he hit. That was amazing. We focused on batting average back then. But Trout is going to wind up with amazing numbers. His on-base percentage is about 470. I thought it would have been impossible. I'm not saying that anymore. I think Altuve is the guy to beat.
Yeah.
But in anything, don't count out Mike Trout.
Why is it that we're trying this revisionist history? If Stanton would somehow hit 62 home runs, that now we're looking at, would that be the new home run mark? And I went, sorry. And, we've already we closed the book on the steroid era here. Well, maybe. But Why is this a conversation that all of a sudden Stanton has a chance to surpass Roger Maris here as the single season home run champ?
Yeah, that's the shame of the steroid era, man. It's just that there's not enough legitimacy to those records. Now, that being said, those are records. They're not going to change, right? The home run record is 73. You get the whole list with Bonds, McGuire, Sosa. No one's changing that. But in the minds of fans, it will always be there. So if you want to say that you buy into authenticity more for Stanton than you do Bonds, you can do that as an individual fan. He's not going to get the record if he hits 62 home runs, but there's a lot of people who are going to say, I have more appreciation for what Stanton did than for what Bonds did, and I would be one of them.
If I said you could have their future, Judge or Stanton, who are you taking?
I would take Stanton. There's not much of a difference in age, actually. Listen, I love Aaron Judge. I think he's going through what a lot of young players do. It's his first full year in the big league, man. He's still making adjustments. He will. But right now, you talk about making adjustments. Stanton is a little bit like Mark McGuire. When Mark first came up, he had no clue how he hit 47 home runs or 49 home runs back as a rookie. But he really learned how to hit later in his career. And I think that's what you're seeing now for Stanton. He's not just a big, strong guy who hits home runs by mistake. He's studying pitchers now. He's learning them. He's got a game plan. This adjustment he's made with his close stance is just so impressive. You're just seeing him now, I just think, hitting in his prime years.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time, Tom. Have fun with Bob on Friday night.
Thanks, Dan.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.